lesson with them. So that's why we're recording it, okay? So we are getting new seats today, and the people that are sitting right here, I'm gonna move you so that we won't be in the way of them here. So first off, does everybody have the new DOL from Lily? Is there anybody that did not get the new DOL? All right, awesome.
April.
Put your first and last name on there. We'll go over the planner, do DOL, then we'll get set up in our new seats, and we will start the classroom activity to get ready for that test today. So that's the plan. We will. Is it working? All right, so we're gonna start our classroom activity today. And again, the purpose of this is to help you get some background before you take the performance task tomorrow, which again, that will be between 4 to 6 paragraphs of writing. So everyone's gonna get a different topic. I don't know what it will be, but it's basically a writing sample. So it might be expository, it might be persuasive. You don't know what it will be until tomorrow when you log in. So we're gonna all start by getting some background on the topic together. So first thing is we need to go over our learning topics. So can I get one table to read that aloud on 3, nice and loud and clear? Okay, it's gonna be Evie and Zoe and Patrick and Frolic. So right here's the learning target. Can you guys see it okay back there? All right, 1, 2, 3.
Students will understand the context of the key concept related to the Aztec Empire was a very modern civilization for its time that consisted of large cities, technological advancements, and cultural traditions.
Okay, that was pretty good considering there's a lot to this. So now we're gonna break it down a little bit. So first, we're trying to understand the key ideas related to this long phrase here. So first, does anybody know about anything about the Aztec Empire? Where was it? Like what continent was it on? What do you know about it?
South America.
Okay, South America. Evie? What do you know about the Aztecs?
That they have
They have,
they build
okay,
They have similar ways of life to the Inca and Mayans.
okay. So similar civilization to the Incas and Mayas.
They were really good engineers.
Engineering skills.
Building stuff.
Buildings. Okay. So we need to understand that the Aztec Empire was a very modern civilization for its time that consisted of large cities, technological advancements. What's a technological advancement?
Waterways, water wheels, pulley systems, like carts and plows.
Yeah, just like when we studied Sumeria and Mesopotamia, we learned about those things being created. So what I was really excited about when I found out this is what we'd be learning, I went, oh, that's great, because we've been studying what a civilization is all year in social studies and looking at the different aspects of what makes a civilization.
Should I be taking notes on what we're saying about the Aztec Empire, because that would be our topic?
I'll go over it when it's time, because we're going to be looking at some different artifacts related to the Aztecs.
But
in a
what should I
magazine
be
have.
taking notes on?
So right now you don't need to be taking any notes.
Does this have anything to do with the further balance in the test?
Yes.
Am I supposed to be taking notes?
Yes, you're going to do it with us today, just for today. Okay. So technological advancements and cultural traditions. What's a cultural tradition? Can you give an example?
Maybe different like cultural holidays.
Okay, so celebrating a holiday.
Maybe like praying after you eat or something.
Okay, so taking part in some kind of religious ceremony or activity like prayer, something that's a ritual.
Fasting.
Fasting. Okay. Okay, so some good examples. All right, so we're gonna be looking for ways that we can show the Aztecs are a civilization. And a civilization is a nation or group of people who have reached an advanced state of human society in which a high level of culture, science, government, technology, and industry has been reached. So this is the smarter balanced definition, and it's a lot like the one that we had in social studies. Industry, what does that mean? Nobody knows?
I know what it means, but I don't know how to like describe it.
Wouldn't an industry be a big production group or building, like an industry?
Yeah, it's the production of something. So the Industrial Revolution, much later in the US, was producing textiles, fabrics, cloths, things like that. All right, so I'm going to be putting a picture up on the screen, and you don't need to write anything down yet, but I want you to turn and talk to your table group and share what you observe from this picture, and tell each other what examples of technology can you see from this picture from the Aztecs. It's a picture of an Aztec city here. Okay. So what can you see from this that tells you that this is a civilization?
I see lots of technology, lots of engineering. Think I see some waterways, and I see plenty of people and plenty of organization.
Okay, so we've got some people here. What about this right here? What does that tell you about the Aztecs?
I see black and white things in this.
Yeah, it's a little bit hard to see. It'll be easier when you look at the color magazines for sure.
I feel like the big building or tower would mean like they have like some kind of president or someone, or like a king or an emperor or someone that's like a bigger power to help manage the land.
Okay, so they must have some kind of government structure to be able to organize and build something like this. Yeah.
I've noticed that a lot of things are squared off. A lot of things are square. There's not very many circular things. It's mostly like bulky.
The shapes are geometric, so they have some designs going on in their architecture. Okay, so yeah, we've got this large triangular building. And the bottom of this building is a square. If you look at the surrounding parts here, I know that's a little hard to see. There's a group of people standing in front of this building here. And there are some smaller buildings off to the sides. They have drawings on the sides of them. That might be a little hard to see. So there's drawings on the sides. What does that tell you about civilization?
They were artists.
They have art, and they have enough of a stable food supply, right, to be able to have artisans. There are walkways that look like they're made out of bricks to me, and there's a fence-like structure with the building just inside of it with a few people nearby. So what do you think this fence-like structure that's right before you get into the city, what might that be for? What does that show you? Is it sand?
Well, maybe it's like protecting something inside. There's something important.
Okay, so it might be a way to protect the city.
Maybe it's for stopping floods. If you like low floods, then you have like low walls.
Okay, it could be a way to protect the city from flooding. So that's another possible guess. All right. So you're going to be using your papers now. And I'm going to be giving groups one of these magazines to share. And I want you to look through it with your group. You will need to share it with a partner. And I want you to write down what are some elements. Oh, sorry. I want you to write down what are some examples you see of civilization. Like, how do you see aspects of a civilization in the Aztecs from what you see here. So what are some things that show you they have a advanced civilization? We're gonna take about 8 minutes to do that. And I'll move a few of you guys that are not at a partner desk so that you'll be working with the group. So can I have Ava move to April's table? Are you here for the
Testing.
Okay.
Could be for the
I'm gonna have you sit next to Evie, and then you're gonna need a piece of paper. Pencil. Does anyone have a pencil you can use? Okay. Brandon has one. You can just stop recording. All right. We're gonna start sharing what you guys found. So I'm gonna be writing and taking a class set of notes. Your job, we're gonna go around to all the tables and share something you wrote down. We wanna make sure there's no repeats though. So make sure that you're listening to what other people say so that you don't share the same thing that they did. So if it's almost the same thing, don't share it. But if it's something different, we wanna write it down. We're brainstorming together what are the aspects of civilization that you saw when you looked at that magazine. And as we're sharing too, if somebody shares one that you didn't have, I want you to write it onto your list. So we're gonna start over here with Skylar.
They had 5 million people, so that means that they have all
Okay, so 5 million people in the society shows, I'm gonna just do an arrow, that shows they had to have a stable food supply to organize that many people. Okay, follow?
Does it say the peaceful and it was divided?
Divided? Can you add on to that a little?
Like, it was another, like, town divided by 4 days. Separate.
Okay, so towns were divided.
They played a game called Clash.
Okay, we had games. Nathan?
It's part about rooms. I said they were organized.
Okay, so towns divided and organized. Willie J?
I said there looks like a main source of like buildings and houses. So
Yeah, we could see there were buildings for many different purposes, and then there were homes. There was shelter, permanent shelter. Evie. Instruments, yeah. So entertainment. Noah.
They had a solar calendar just like ours. It was 365 days. It's based off the rotation of Earth around the sun.
And Brendan, how many months do they have?
13.
That's right. So solar calendar, a little different from ours, but pretty cool to show that they had an organized way of tracking time. And Amanda?
they rebuilt the buildings to look better, like more impressive than the past.
So they could rebuild their buildings. Okay, Oku? What? Had a social ladder, yes. So people had jobs and roles in society. Sam?
Well, in the social ladder, there was like many different kinds, including rulers, royal family, nobles, priests, warriors, commoners, and slaves.
Okay, I will write part of that and I'll put etc. after priests. So rulers, nobles, priests, etc. and they had slaves in their society. Jackson?
I wrote down that they used animals in their social points, that they would use sometimes they would use animals to describe how high they were in the social ladder.
Okay, so that's like a cultural aspect to people's identities. So it sounds like animals were used as a symbol.
Yeah.
Zoe.
Priests ran the schools.
Okay, so education. Priests ran the schools. So they had an organized way that people learn. Jean. At the end of the year, babies that were born
Wouldn't be any good, or they wouldn't grow up doing something good.
would be like considered unlucky. So we could say they had superstitions. Did it say if that was related to their religion or anything? Or just a belief? Do you know, Jane? Is it related to their religion? Okay. Remind me of your name in the red?
Oh, Eli,
Eli.
I found out that the nobles roasted hairless dogs.
Ooh. So I'm gonna say nobles sacrificed dogs, and that is showing they have a religious structure.
Actually, they ate the dog.
Okay, I will add 2. April, anything different?
I wrote down that the pyramid of the sun is 4 times bigger than the Great Pyramid in Egypt.
Wow, 4 times bigger than the Great Pyramid in Egypt. That's impressive. Okay. So pyramids. Ava?
There were waterways.
Yeah, we were noticing that, and we talked about how it was kind of like on my China trip, the different waterways that people would use basically as a road to get around, like the gondolas in Italy, the same deal. Brendan? It's time to stop. Okay, so waterways, and that's part of their transportation. Just so far, we've already got so many pieces of evidence that they're an organized society, right guys? Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go over to this table first, and I'll come back to you, starting with Lily C.
They had a lot of astronomy and definitely was interested into astronomy in the sky, because even just the pyramid of the sun and stuff like that, and then their calendar was
Yeah, so they spent time looking at the sky, they were developing science. That can only happen if they have a stable food supply and permanent shelters to allow people to specialize into something like that. So that's a really important observation that a few of you guys made. How about Julian?
Well, I was going to say religion, because in one of the pictures they were sacrificing somebody, and they wouldn't normally do that in regular society unless it was related to religion.
So religion is an aspect that you see in an organized society, and then their ritual sacrifices are an example of how they practice their religion, which is pretty scary. Tanya.
When they were celebrating, they put on makeup and painted their teeth red and black.
Okay, so it sounds like so they've got celebrations, and it sounds like ceremonial clothing and
Like it was really more like makeup and paint and stuff.
I'll put ceremonial dress, and that would include their makeup and their teeth. Wow. Okay, and Garen.
They had gods.
Okay. And the gods add to their religion. Okay, Noah?
Oh no, actually it's something about religion.
One of the more important gods was, I don't know how to say it, but it was Kulit.
The god of war? Was it the god of war?
Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the main ones was the war god. I'm not gonna write that name down, but. Poetry, yeah. We talked about writing as one of the aspects of civilization. Okay. So now connecting it today to our culture, what are some examples you see in our society, in our modern day civilization, that show we are a society? So what are some elements of culture, science, government, and technology for us here and now? Zoe? We have a president, so that's part of our government structure. PlayStation 4, which one would that fit into? Technology.
And industry.
Okay, what else?
We have I don't know how to say this, but what you're saying, like how they couldn't have astronomers if they didn't have
Astronomers.
astronomers. And if they didn't have so we have that thing.
We have astronomers, we have NASA, we have tons of different scientific organizations. So we have a stable enough food supply and permanent homes that allow us to have these advancements. Sam?
We have a calendar and social classes.
Okay, calendar and social structure.
We have military.
We have a military that's part of our government. Okay.
We also have calendars.
Calendars, and now not only do we have a lot of paper-based calendars, but we have a whole lot that we do on our computers and our phones. What would that fit into? Yeah, our technology, and that's part of how we communicate too.
We have games also. There's a lot more games in
We have more
Types of games, entertainment. We haven't talked about religion yet. What's religion look like in our modern society? Does everyone practice religion?
No.
Is it always the same one? What can we say about that?
There's a lot of variety when it comes to religion. Like you can choose for your religious, kind of choose your religion.
So we studied the 5 main religions this year, but we also talked about people who don't practice religion too, and that there were many other religions besides those 5 major ones too. So it sounds like there's some more freedoms maybe in our society than for these other societies like the Aztecs. They just had one, right? So that's a difference, but also something we can connect on. Anything else about our society today? I mean, you could look at anything in this room. Schools. Yeah. So theirs were taught by priests, and now we have people that are specifically teachers
cameras?
What's that?
Do you have the like cameras and stuff?
Camera, yeah. That's gonna be really helpful to people that are absent tomorrow, like Marion and Evan. Projector. Okay. You guys have done an awesome job looking at examples for the Aztecs and then connecting it to today. So we know that tomorrow, when we start the performance task, you'll be looking into this information more. So what I'd like you to do now is put your name on that paper up in the top corner. I'm going to collect those. And I want to congratulate you all on a really good conversation today. You guys came up with a lot of examples. You looked at the magazine carefully. I'm going to have Eli and Ava collect the magazines now. And to collect the notebook pages will be Nathan and Amanda.